after just thinking about the game for a few minutes, not seeing it, missed opportunities is the best way that I would describe today. I thought we had a great chance to come in here and take a step forward as a program coming off of a difficult setback. Our practices were effective and efficient, and the mindset was good. It did not translate at a high enough level into making plays today. So we had our opportunities, and that in and of itself is, especially when teams are relatively evenly matched, and in the ACC, when you have opportunities, you need to capitalize. And those plays that you make when opportunities come determine outcome. And so the punt return was a play that hurt us, and then we had a number of chances in the red zone today that we didn't capitalize or get points out of, and ultimately with not being able to take over defensively when they started to run and play action a little bit, not making enough plays and taking over the game to get the ball back to our offense. I'd say the collective of all those things together is kind of what played out today. So I'll take questions.
How is not having Juan Thornhill, how does that affect what you're doing defensively?
Quite a bit. Juan is a very good football player, and he's experienced, and we use him in a lot of different ways. And he's in the special teams pool also, and so that does have an effect. Joey Blunt stepped up, and Devontae Cross, and the downfield throws, I think we defended pretty well, other than Devontae's first one. They caught an early fade on the first drive that ended up leading to points. But in relation to the game, I don't think that was the difference. We did our best to adjust around him and then to have the next man up, and ultimately wasn't quite enough.
Bronco, you've talked a lot this year about resilience and a sort of a change in the culture of the program, that there's not, when one thing goes bad, you don't sense that the confidence goes down on the sideline. With two losses like this in a row, are you sensing confidence remains where it was, or are you sensing that?
No, I don't think confidence is where it was, but I think hope is where it was. And I think there's a difference, and my job is to tie confidence into the execution, things we can control. And rather than saying our opponent did this, there's so many things right now that we're capable of doing at a much higher level that will lead back to confidence. And confidence comes when you earn it and when you win, just matter-of-factly. And so that part has taken a shot, but I don't sense. It remains to be seen if resilience will have taken a shot as I watch the film or look at it going down to the home stretch.
Bronco, it's 21-7 at the half. You get that late touchdown, you get the ball first in the third quarter. Did you feel like that was a particularly critical juncture of the game, and you end up going 3 and out, and Pitt drives for a touchdown, and suddenly it's 28-7?
Yeah, there's just, again, there's so many opportunities right now that and small ebbs and flows in the game that critical plays here or there are then adding up to be where it's a cumulative effect. And as we play more challenging teams, ACC teams, road games, etc., all those things are now just showing there are still holes as we're developing our program. And I would love to say developed, but we all know that's not the case. As we're developing, and then we address them the best we can the following week versus the next opponent, and trying to accelerate that as fast as possible, and fell short today.
How much did the start of the game set the tone? You stop Pitt 3 and out in the first series. You get inside the Pitt 40. Kurt's intercepted. They score. Then Mejia misses a field goal on your next possession.
I think it's just a test. And so we have a lot of tests coming right now, but many are self-inflicted. So I think that's the main message, that this isn't to where we go to play a game and this is imposed on us. We have ways to counter all those things that happened. And for the program to take another step, our execution has to hold more frequently and more consistently week in and week out, and situation in and situation out. And if confidence wanes, then sometimes that becomes it's difficult to break out of those situations and take over the game the way we need to, which usually is, man, it's no matter what happens, execution wins the day. As long as they're trying hard, doing their jobs at a really high level is what we need, and plenty of missed opportunities today.
Bronco could be symptomatic of falling behind early bet in the last few games. You guys have had to take a lot of deep shots, and a lot of those have been there almost. Just a matter of making a catch or making the play. Does that go back to the execution and missed opportunities?
Well, it's partially how Pitt plays defense. Part of the plan, regardless of whether we were ahead or behind, was we like the chance to take some shots, and that's part of what we do offensively. And when we connect on those, as we do, as we did on a couple, then that really helps us. And when we don't, you know, it's still doesn't mean that it's not effective, because they have to acknowledge that. But that's just when you could play this team. That's one of the things that they make available to you, and you can't let them play that way without a free safety as frequently as they do without working to take a shot at that.
On Henderson's punt return for a touchdown, was that poor kick, poor coverage?
Starts with the kick. The kick was not where it needed to be, and from where I was, it looked like two guys maybe had a shot at him, maybe three. And then, in addition to that kick, at the end, there was a kick that was mishit. They got it about on the 40-yard line. That was not where that ball was supposed to go. So ball placement on the kicks are important.
Was that supposed to be an onside kick? Or?
No, it was supposed to be a we call it a middle bouncer, and so it would have been a similar result, but more down about to the 30-yard line, and with the same kind of chance to get it, but we didn't execute that very well.
Fair to assume that Henderson was prominent in your scouting?
Oh yeah,
Special teams?
oh yeah, yeah, and really frustrating that that 1 year there is a return, and then with the focus we put on it, then again, and much of it comes from placement of the kick.
Kurt had one interception in the first 4 games, 4 in the last 4 games. Is he taking chances and doing things you don't like, or is that just the way it's played out?
It's just where he currently is in his development. And sometimes when we get behind, or as the team gets behind, players try to play a little bit outside of themselves and force here or force there and try to make a difference. So I think he's competing hard and trying to help our team. It's just when you're at a deficit, sometimes that figures into the decision making. And I want him to be aggressive, and I want him to be confident, and so there's a delicate balance in there.
The play before Jordan Ellis was stopped on 4th and 1, it looked like he might have backed into the end zone. What were you being told on the headset?
I wasn't being told really anything other than it looked like a touchdown. It did to me from the sideline, and it did to the upstairs, but again, I'm promised every play is reviewed, so I'm sure it was. That's what I'm promised.
You don't have the luxury of a bye week, extra week to prepare for Georgia Tech's offense. How, as challenges go in preparation in football, where does that rank?
There's none higher, but it's okay. I like doing hard things, and I like my team. I love my team, and we'll take on the next challenge the best we can.